channel. Welcome to our live stream. Thank you very much for everyone who's joining us this evening. And tonight we will be having a very interesting topic because this marks our first live coverage for the first live stream discussion for our coverage for the 2023 Miss Earth pageant. Okay, so before we begin, I would like to welcome everyone in our chat room, in our live chat box. We have a ongoing poll right now, and I would like for everyone to participate in that poll. We have for this evening a question for everyone who's joining us. We're asking if where do you think the next Miss Earth is coming from? And we have the options coming from either Asia and Oceania. We have Europe, we have Africa, or the Americas. And right now, based on the poll, we see that leading on the pack is the votes for Asia and Oceania, while Americas is a close second at 33%. And we're still waiting for more people to join our live stream so that we have a more lively discussion this evening. Okay? So, roll call muna tayo. Ping is here. Sabi niya, hello guys, please like this video and see you in a bit. Please give it a thumbs up. Thank you again, Ping, for always, being the first in our discussions and encouraging everyone to join our live stream and giving it a thumbs up. So, maraming salamat. Roland Ramirez TV is kumakaway. Sabi niya, hello. Pierre is saying na posted pala a comment saying Miss Earth and with a heart emoji. Travel Junkie is here as well. Thank you very much, Travel Junkie, for joining our live stream discussion. Sabi niya, present po. Okay, so this evening marks our first live stream discussion for the Miss Earth pageant. And base doon sa, base doon sa mga kaganapan, I think it's safe to say that there is a sort of expectation that the Miss Earth is going to be a very interesting pageant this year, especially with Vietnam hosting. Okay, let me just adjust the camera a little bit kasi masyadong nagre-reflect yung light sa aking mukha. So as I was saying, Miss Earth seems to be very promising this year because of the because of the hosting in Vietnam. And right off the bat, I think the Miss Earth started off with a series of online na mga videos wherein the girls started to introduce themselves essentially to the pageant community. And so far, I am liking the fact that there are a lot of hidden gems in this year's batch. I think that this year we have a lot of girls that we need to look out for who are not necessarily very popular but quite are good speakers, good communicators, and I think that being said, they might make us second guess our our selection if we're going to base only on face value, on the criteria of beautiful face. So I have selected 12 ladies that I think should be the girls that we have to look out for, as well as several girls that I think we need to start looking out on, or at least pay attention to, or at least give a nod to. Okay, so what is the criteria that I've selected for this year's list to look out for Miss Earth? So first of all, I deliberately did not seek out all the girls prior to the Sashing Ceremony. So what I did was to look at the first impressions first based on the Sashing Ceremony, and then prior to that, I have watched all the introduction videos of all the delegates, which is around like 4 hours, at least 4 hours na kahaba na, what do you call this, na mga videos introducing all of the delegates this year. And from there, that is where I selected my list of the girls to look out for based on the first impression that I have of the girls. Tapos, what I also did was to make sure that those first impressions based on the introductory video is augmented, supplemented by what I've seen on their sashing ceremony photos and videos that I've seen online. Okay, so at this point, I would safe to say that I am still at the point of getting to know more of the delegates, and I am not rushing to get to know them more because I want to take deep dive into their backgrounds, into their advocacies, step by step. So over the next several days, what I am going to do on my end is to look at their online submissions for the culture and advocacy aspects. So I am going to introduce myself to these videos one step at a time, so that I get to know more of the girls on a deeper level. So I understand who they are, what are their advocacies, and who are they based on their backgrounds. So the introductory videos is only for me to have a immediate, see-through of the girls in these competitions, in the Miss Earth competition this year. But I will want to get to know them more with a series of the videos, video challenges that were posted on the Miss Earth Facebook page. Okay, with that being said, I would have to make a disclaimer first with my list this evening, because there are supposed to be around 88 contestants who will be competing for the Miss Earth title. Initially, it was estimated that around 114 countries are interested in participating in Miss Earth. However, I understand there are several girls that have not yet arrived at Vietnam, and one of those girls is actually on our list, Miss Zambia, Kunda Mwamulima. Wait, sorry, I think I just murdered her name. Her name is Kunda Mwamulima. Okay, so she's not yet in Vietnam, but she's definitely on our list because I've already posted her image on our Instagram and Facebook pages. Okay, so with that being said, please bear in mind that these are just first impressions of the ladies. These are not yet in-depth analysis on the girls. I haven't seen their advocacy videos yet. I haven't seen their culture and traditions videos. What I am aware so far is actually the Miss Earth Tree Talk, as well as their introductory videos. So I am not including my impressions first on the Tree Talk. I am focusing first on the impressions that I got from their introductory videos, as well as the impression that I got from their Sashing Ceremony earlier this week. Okay, so may mga comments na here. Let me just go back and check up on the comment section. Pierre says, I love Miss Earth. We do. It's, I agree when YouTuber The Sovereign said that this is the least problematic of all the four female pageants, alpha pageants in existence. I agree with that assessment, because based on my observation year in, year out, they're not, they beat to the sound of their own drums, and they are not afraid to be the pageant that is gonna crown a girl that is, contrary to popular opinion, the best girl in the batch. However, year in, year out, they always crown a very deserving winner. It only becomes apparent after several, after the crowning, after several months after that winner's crowning. And I think this is why Miss Earth is not that popular to most pageant aficionados and pageant fans, because they don't like to pander towards the popularity, towards the popular opinion. Okay, so let's go muna doon sa mga comment section. Pierre says, there are many gorgeous queens this year and they are very intelligent. I agree, because there are several girls that I thought might break into the top 10 or if it's going to be a top 16 or top 20 this year. I think some of the girls who are very outspoken, who are very good communicators, might inch their way into the semifinals this year. So we really need to be on the lookout on several girls who have very strong communication skills. Okay, continuing sa comment ni Pierre, she mentioned that Thailand surprises me. She's eloquent and sincere in her advocacies. I agree. I think that this year, Thailand is a surprise, considering that she's very young and very articulate at such a young age. Davis Urdaneta says, Brazil, Colombia, Puerto Rico, Czech Republic, and Thailand are my top 5 so far. Brazil is my current winner. Of course, the Philippines is a strong contender as well. I kind of agree, and I will be discussing some of the girls that you've mentioned in, what do you call this, in the list later on. Okay? Mark Gonzalez, hello Mark. Good evening, Sir Jason and ka-scripters. Magandang gabi, Mark. Nakahabol sa live stream, interested to know the ME frontrunners. Glad that Zimbabwe has been getting the spotlight in its pageant. In this pageant this past 2 years. There is a reason why Zimbabwe is very interesting, because not only is she physically beautiful, but also she looks like she's going to be one of the African girls who's easily gonna make it into the semifinals this year. And I am hoping that there will be more representation in terms of African candidates in pageants. And I am glad that with Miss Earth, even years back, have always been able to give a spot on the African girls in their pageant. And this is why I am very much in respect and in awe with Miss Earth, because even before the continental grouping has become a topic of discussion and awareness among pageant fans, they've already been doing that since the early 2010s. And I believe that compared to the continental grouping of Miss Universe versus Miss Earth, I think that the Miss Earth has found the perfect formula in executing the continental grouping in such a way that every country has equal footing to make it into the semis, and at the same time there is representation for every continent at the semifinalists. Okay. Pierre says, Brazil is a drop-dead gorgeous queen. They always send beautiful girls to Miss Earth. Vietnam has unconventional beauty, but she is smart. Colombia is an environmental engineer. If I am not mistaken, yes, she is. And I will be discussing why Colombia is quite high on my list this year. Okay, Travel Junkie says, supporting Miss Earth all the way. I wish they have no makeup challenge na walang budol. Okay, I do agree with that. I do hope that there are girls who are, there is a portion, even if it's maybe in the closer interview, that they would do a no makeup part, just so that it still stays true with the Miss Earth element, with the Miss Earth ethos, especially with finding girls that are not only beautiful with makeup on. Okay, and also, of course, if you are doing, tree planting, you're doing outdoor activities for the Miss Earth, especially with its advocacy and its ethos on environmental awareness, protection, and you're doing cleanups, ocean cleanups, or you're doing tree planting, you of course want to have a winner who is not hulas or who doesn't look like she's a different person from her makeup and with no makeup images. Okay? Okay, so let's see so far the poll. What's the result right now? Oceania is leading with 50%. You think that Asia and Oceania is going to be the place where the next Miss Earth is coming from. Europe and Africa ties at 7% each, and at close second is the Americas at 36%. Okay, so maghihintay po muna tayo ng additional na mga votes before we close this poll at the end of the live stream. Okay, in the meantime, let's get on with the discussion. Okay. Okay. Hey Narsby, thank you very much for the welcome to the live stream pala. Thank you very much for the generosity. I received it. I received the email. So thank you very much for that. You're not late. We just started. I just gave a small run through of what we were looking for in terms of this list and why these are the ladies that we are going to look out for in this year's edition. Okay. So let's start first with the list that did not necessarily make it into my top 12 as of this moment. I know there will be some people who are going to be shocked with the ladies who did not make it in my top 12 as of this moment, but let me give you a reason for that a little bit later on. Okay, so first things first, let's go through some of the ladies, maybe around 8 ladies that are within my radar or have made an impression with me in their introductory video. And I know some of these ladies are not necessarily part of the ladies to look out for, but is close enough. Okay, so let's start first with Vietnam and Mongolia. Vietnam is Dothi Lan and Mongolia is Monchimeg Batjargal. These two ladies are very smart, very well spoken. I think that these two ladies might easily break into the top 16 if they play the cards right in terms of their ability to speak, ability to communicate. I think these two are some of the ladies that we need to be threatened with when it comes to communication skills. I think that in terms of physical beauty and performance, we have to look at them down the line later on and check if they are going to deliver when it comes to the performance aspect of the competition. I think, however, that in terms of know-how, in terms of intelligence, in terms of the ability to communicate, Vietnam and Mongolia are quite high up there in terms of their ability to speak. And I think Miss Earth is one of those pageants that put premium on ladies who can talk, ladies who can communicate. And I think in terms of branding, these two ladies could easily be the kind of girls that would be good for the Miss Earth branding, especially with their communication skills. Also, another well-spoken lady is Miss Denmark. Her name is Sylvia Topholm. Her introductory video actually for me was very engaging. She was very natural in the way that she speaks. She's not rehearsed. That's what I noticed. And I think her ability to communicate in such a conversant manner, despite it being a recorded video, is something to look out on. Denmark, I believe, is sending, quality girls, not necessarily the most facially beautiful girls in Miss Earth, but you know that they're consistent in that aspect. So I think if it's going to be a top 20, I do hope it's a top 20 this year for Miss Earth. I think that Denmark should easily coast into the semifinals this year. Now, in terms of some of the girls that are not necessarily, on my list, but actually that I actually had a good impression on are Chile's Jimena Huala, who for me was interesting in her introductory video because she mentioned that her father is is a member of the one of the largest ethno-linguistic groups in Chile, while her mom is a Chinese Filipina. So it's very interesting, the mix of these cultures with her. And I think we might be seeing her perform well if she plays, again, her cards right, if she trained well for the presentation aspect and she's able to communicate well in the interviews. Another lady that I found very interesting facially is Korea's Jang Do-yeon, who actually reminds me, if you're familiar with Park Shin-hye, she is one of those Korean K-drama actresses who were popular, especially in the early 2010s. If you're familiar with, what's that? I forgot. She was a member of the Angel what do you call it? Fictional na K-pop band on I forgot the K-drama. Give me time. I think the member doon is si Lee Hong-ki ng FT Island at saka si Jun Yong-hwa ng CN Blue. Sandali lang. Give me a second. You're Beautiful. That's the name of the K-drama. It's a 2009 Korean drama. Okay? That's who reminds me of Miss Korea this year. Very beautiful, very pretty. Again, when I was looking at her video, I was noticing her very glassy skin, which I think is the standard beauty norm in Korea. So I think in terms of pretty, in terms of beautiful face, Korea is on the list. And then on my list of gorgeous faces is Laos. Her name is Noa Claus. She's a very beautiful face, very Asian, very Indo-Chinese face. If you're familiar with the aesthetics of the people from Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, and in that area, they are what they call the Indo-China countries. They're not necessarily part of the Chinese-looking population, but they are mix of like Malay and Chinese heritage. So I'm not sure if that's the right word. So their aesthetics, their beauty stands a bit different from the purely Indo-Malayan and the purely Oriental Chinese. So I think in terms of beauty of face, Laos is one of those girls that we need to take a second look on. And then also in my list is Trinidad and Tobago's Shalima Bozell, who has a very interesting face. However, I also think that she's still raw in terms of her packaging, in terms of her presentation. There still needs to be like polishing here and there in order for her to be considered one of the main frontrunners in this year's competition. Now, I know this is going to be very, very controversial, but just a stone throw away from my top 12 this year is actually Brazil's Morgana Carlos, who is a dentist. I think that she's going to be a shoe-in the top 8. She has the Miss Earth sash factor going on for her. As all know, Brazil is a Miss Earth sash factor country, so I am expecting that top 8 finish would be an easy feat for her. I would not be surprised if she makes, part of the top 4 as one of the elemental queens, because Brazil always sends very interesting beauties at Miss Earth. And Brazil sitting comfortably with around 3 Miss Earth winners. I think this year it's easy for them to add another title or another elemental queen into their list of achievements for Miss Earth. The only reason why she's not in my top 12, it's because I think the ladies who made my top 12, for personal reasons, I think these are the ladies that could easily should be given enough attention to, based on their introductory videos in terms of their in terms of my impression of them during the Sashing Ceremony. The only thing that the only thing that prevented me actually to put Brazil in my top 12, it's her introductory video that dragged for quite some time. I didn't like that. Some of the girls who made in my top 12 gave a very short, concise, but very jam-packed information in their introductory videos. And with Brazil, I felt that the time that she spent in her introductory video was so long and dragging, that it kind of made me feel that if I don't have enough time to watch all of these videos, I would have skipped portions of her introductory video. Okay, so let's go into our 12 ladies that I think we should be looking out for in this year's competition. Again, this is based on the Sashing Ceremony, the first impressions that I got from there, as well as the impressions that I got from their introductory videos. So this is not the end-all be-all list. This might change in the course of the next several weeks as we go further into the Miss Earth competition. Okay, first on my list, I have Mexico's Daniela Landin, who works as a shipping supervisor for the automotive industry, which is for me a little bit contradictory because the automotive industry and vehicles are some of the industries that are helping with the aggravation of pollution, but I think that her being part of the automotive industry explains, or rather helps us to make an understanding better of how to make each industry a little bit more green. And I think that with Mexico's Daniela Landin this year, it would be easy for her to land into the top 8. I am sensing that there is fire with this lady, and the highest placement so far of Mexico in Miss Earth is around 2018. Yeah, 2018. Miss Earth Feier, Melissa Flores, who did not make it into the top 20 of Miss Universe earlier this year due to political reasons, is Miss Earth Feier in her year. And then the first time that they ever made into the top 4 of Miss Earth was around, I think, 2008, where they were like water something, yung elemental title nila. I think that Mexico this year has a good chance, a fair chance of making it into the semis, into the top 8, and even possibly into the top 4. I am, how to say this, I am a little bit cautious because I think Daniela Landin has some facial familiarities with another girl on the list, which is Adriana Lopez of Colombia. So I think she needs to, both girls rather would need to package themselves differently so that they don't look too much the same. Okay? Next on my list is Netherlands, Noa Claus. She's a model, she's a food bar employee, and a graduate of travel and hospitality management. What's interesting about her is that she used to compete in gymnastics and horseback riding. And over the past, as I was looking at the placement of Netherlands in the Miss Earth pageant, over the past 3 years, they actually made top 8. So I am expecting that Noa, being one of the girls that are being hyped by fans as a possible winner, would definitely make it into the semis and even surpass her predecessors. I think as of this moment, Noa is one of the girls that, in terms of face, in terms of communication skills, and in terms of overall packaging, she could easily make top 4. My hesitance in putting her with a possibility of winning the crown as of this moment is because of the fact that I haven't seen her perform yet. I haven't seen her pasarela. I haven't seen her in a swimsuit or in an evening gown walking on stage. And I think those are components that needs to be addressed if you want to make it further into the competition, because you can make it into the semis, you can make it into the first cut of the Miss Earth pageant with your preliminary performance, whether it's interviews, whether it's judging of the beauty of figure and etc. However, once that you're already on the semifinalist, you're competing on stage, the one that will whittle you down from the top 16 to top 8 to top 4 is actually the performance aspect. So you need to make sure that you nail that as well. And that is my hesitance with Noa Claus. But if she is able to deliver on the presentation aspects, then who knows, we might be seeing her as the next Miss Earth this year. Okay, another European in my list is actually Portugal's Carlota Lobo. A lot of girls are not that are on my list are not necessarily the popular girls. So I think that the reason why we need to give an extra attention of this on these girls on the list is because they have something that I have noticed in their introductory videos. Now, Carlota Loba is a psychology student and she looks very fresh. She's only around I think 18 years old or 19 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And Portugal's highest placement was with Telma Madeira, who made it as a top 8 finalist in 2018. And coincidentally, last year, Telma Madeira made it into the semis of Miss Universe when she was competing against her fellow top 8 placer in Miss Earth in 2018, which is Celeste Cortesi of the Philippines. So going back to Carlota, she has a very interesting look with her. She looks like one of those actresses at the Fast and Furious na franchise. The supposed to be wife of the character of the sister of Vin Diesel there. That's the actress that reminds me of Carlota Lobo. So I'm not familiar with the name as of this moment, but I think in terms of beauty of face, Portugal is definitely sending a stunner. Now, we cannot have this list without another popular girl. Her name is Victoria Arocho and she's from Puerto Rico. She's just 19 years old. Or sorry, I think it's just only 21 years old. And she is definitely one of the best faces in among the Latinas this year. I think with her, very arresting face, she could easily do another Nellis Pimentel in Miss Earth. I won't be surprised if this year all of the winners for the major beauty pageants will be Latinas. And I think Victoria Arocho is one of those girls that I think is going to be a strong contender for the Miss Earth title this year. She is a business owner and she has a very, what I sensed from her in her introductory video was that she is very driven. And I think that is a good thing, especially if you want to become the next Miss Earth, or who knows, maybe down the line, who wants to participate in bigger alpha pageants like Miss World or Miss Universe. So I think we have to look out for Victoria Arocho. I think she's going to be one of the girls that is going to wow us when it comes to presentation skills come finals on the 22nd. Now, another girl that we all should be on the lookout for is Thailand's Cora Bliault. Cora is, if you're familiar with Pawinsuda Fasay, Pawinsuda Druin, she is Thai Canadian, same as Cora. And the most recent na highest placement of Thailand was Feier in several years back. Pawinsuda was a top 8 placer in 2017, I believe. And then Punika Kulsuntunrat was water in 2013. So in terms of facial beauty, Cora kind of reminds me of a young Katrina Di Maranan, who was first runner-up in Miss Supranational several years back, representing the United States. I think that Cora is definitely one of the girls to look out for because she has a very interesting face. She's very well spoken. She's only 19 years old, but she already communicates with such passion and with such maturity. And I think that is something that we should be really on the lookout for. I think Thailand is bringing out their big guns in major international competitions this year. Another lady that we should look out for, be on the lookout for, is Ukraine's Anastasiia Feier, who is a social science and a foreign language student. She speaks 3 languages, including English and German, aside from her native language, of course. I think that Anastasiia is one of the girls from Europe that has one of the most easily recognizable faces in the competition. And I think that if we are going to base the competition only on face, definitely I think Anastasiia would make it into top 8, top 4 easily. However, because this is Miss Earth, that's not a guarantee that having the most beautiful face would make you the winner of the competition. So, what I'm trying to say is that with her ability to communicate, I think that couple that with if she has a good presentation skills on stage, I think Ukraine would easily make top 8 semifinals at the most. At the least, sorry. And I think if a lot of these European girls come into Miss Earth thinking that they only need to be smart and pretty, they had to second guess their placement, because that's not the end all be all of Miss Earth. There is also the competition aspect of the presentation skills, technical skills on stage that they need to nail on. And I think this is where a lot of Europeans over the past several years are coming short of, because if you look at the last strong European winner for Miss Earth, which is Teresa Faishova in 2012, I think 2012, she's not only beautiful face, but she is able to be sincere in her answers. And I think that is a very interesting and a very potent arsenal in her, in her pocket that she used during the finals, because she was able to not only compliment being sincere with her answers, but she was also able to complement that with good presentation skills. That is why I think that Europeans in Miss Earth have been failing so far to nail on and deliver a crown for Europe. It's because they needed to make sure that they have good presentation skills aside from being very smart and very pretty. So it's not enough. They need to nail the presentation, the technical aspects of presentation as well. If it happens that Ukraine has this, then a lot of the girls, especially the Latinas, will have to worry, because I think Ukraine is one of those girls that are really, really gorgeous. Okay, and of course, I'm not saying that that Europe is easily going to be denied, because there are a lot of girls from Europe that I think will be strong competitors and contenders in this year's competition. Okay, now let's move from Europe to Africa, because I have been mesmerized essentially by this lady from her very model-esque, or rather very gamine look, or rather gamine body proportions. She kind of reminds me body-wise on ladies like Natalie Portman and Audrey Hepburn, and this is Zimbabwe's Courtney Jongwe. She's a chemical engineer. She is actually one of the girls that I find, facially interesting among the Africans this year. On one hand, I kind of feel like she has this Lupita Nyong'o vibes around her. And if she is packaged well, she's styled well in the competition, I think she could make easily top 4 in Miss Earth this year. I am not yet aware of her proficiency on the pasarela side, so I am hoping that come competition time where pasarela is a huge factor, she needs to deliver on that aspect as well. I think she is very engaging the way she speaks. I think that she is one of those ladies that if it's going to be like 4 spots for each continent this year, I would guarantee her a spot in the 4 spots for Africa. Okay. Now let's move from Africa to Latin America, and this spot goes to Colombia's Adriana Lopez. And what I am really impressed about this girl is that they are sending a girl who is not only facially gorgeous but also physically very model-esque, very pageant. She has a very pageant proportions. This is the kind of body that you would definitely want seeing parading in a swimsuit in an evening gown for competitions. And aside from that, she comes with a very heavy resume coming into the Miss Earth competition this year. And with Colombia, always ending up in the elemental court, but not actually winning Miss Earth. I think that this year, they are sending someone who ticks all the boxes. I just saw a comment from Travel Junkie mentioning that Colombia is a full package. I kind of agree because she is an environmental engineer who studied the same in college. And then she is she is one of the ladies who actually had a very strong introductory videos. You can sense from there, from her introductory video, that this lady didn't come here to play around. She came here to win. She came here prepared. And I think in terms of branding, having an environmental engineer as Miss Earth goes well with the Miss Earth brand. So I think that in terms of the ability for Colombia, in terms of the possibility for Colombia to win Miss Earth this year, I think it's very high. So we really need to watch on Adriana, because this girl is not gonna play around. I think with Colombia having won, multiple elemental titles over the year, there was one time where it was a back-to-back Miss Earth Air titles in 2017, 2018, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's about time that Colombia wins Miss Earth. Okay? So, which makes, if Colombia wins Miss Earth, you would see that Latinas came to slay in this year's competition, because Supranational was a Latina, Miss International is a Latina, Miss Universe is a Latina, and now Miss Earth is a Latina, is possibly going to be a Latina. So the Europeans, the Asians, and the Africans really need to bring their A game on, because Latin America is not playing this year. They need to step it up, because the Latina girls came in prepared. Now, di mawawala sa listahan natin si Miss Philippines Yllana Aduana. Yllana Maria Aduana is actually, based on her bios, is a model, a host, an advocate, and an ambassador. But if you look at her credentials, it's more than just that. She's actually a medical technologist. She graduated and passed the MedTech licensure examination in 2018. And what is impressive with her is that she took initiative to be able to visit 17 regions in the Philippines, from Region 1 to Region 14, including the ARMM, the Cordillera Autonomous Region, etc., to complete all 17 regions in the Philippines. And this is in alignment with the 7 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Aside from that, she actually participated in a talk with the United Nations earlier this year. So you know that this girl is actually doing her job as Miss Philippines Earth. And if she manages to do her job as Miss Philippines Earth, imagine what she can do as Miss Earth. Yllana is a very popular lady among Filipino pageant fans, having been a Binibining Pilipinas candidate in 2021. No, in 2022. And aside from that, her going back to Miss Philippines Earth, because Miss Philippines Earth is actually her first national pageant, and then she came back for a second time this year for Miss Philippines Earth, and winning that. I think that this girl is really thirsty for this crown. So I think in terms of her eagerness to win, Yllana has that in spades. My only worry with her is that she needs to pace herself. Yllana, what I've seen observed from her stint at Binibining Pilipinas to Miss Earth, that she has a tendency to be over eager, and I think she needs to rein in that energy and deliver only on the more crucial moments of the competition. Okay, now last 3 ladies in our list, we have Zambia's Kunda Mwamulima, who is a nursing student and an advocate for eco-farming and sustainable agricultural system. She's not yet in Vietnam, and that is what I am worried about, because if she's not present on the initial competitions, aspects of the pageant, she might be missing out on, the activities. But I do hope that she's able to continue and compete later on the Miss Earth judged activities. So I do hope she's able to arrive, because if she's not there, it is for me a waste of opportunity, because I think I want to know more about her. I want to know more about her advocacy projects on sustainable agricultural systems. Okay, of course, the lady that everyone is talking about every time that I'm looking at mga posts on mga Miss Earth groups is Poland's Ewa Jakubiec. Okay, here's the thing about her. She's supposed to compete at Miss World 2024. However, because the reigning Miss Polonia is also the reigning Miss World, I don't think that they will be crowning a back-to-back Polish girl for Miss World. So it is, I think, a smart group for Miss Polonia to allow, or rather to put Ewa at Miss Earth, because Ewa, I think, is one of the girls who is one of the most facially gorgeous ladies in Miss Earth this year. Kahit na ihilera mo siya sa mga Latinas, ihilera mo siya sa mga Europeans, sa Asians, her beauty stand out. She has this very evergreen kind of face, with less makeup on, of course, that has a very piercing na eyes, with very dark hair and very light skin. So she has this Snow White type of complexion that makes her interesting in the eyes of pageant watchers. I am not sure though with her communication skills, because I haven't seen her interviews. However, she is able to deliver in her introductory video, just enough for me to understand who she is as a person. She is a nurse who specializes in anesthesiology, but she's also furthering her studies, taking up public health currently. She is a breast cancer advocate because it ties in with her advocacy on health and well-being. She's a part-time model, and she's 26 years old, and if she wins Miss Earth, then I think that would be a great thing, because I don't think if she is sent at Miss World, she would win Miss World, because the current winner is Polish, and with Miss World having been postponed for like almost 2 years now, I don't think that they are going to crown another Polish girl for Miss World. So it does make sense that she is being sent to Miss Earth, because she has bigger opportunities to win. She has a larger chance of winning Miss Earth rather than winning Miss World. And finally on our list, we have South Africa. South Africa's Belinde Schreuder is not supposed to be the one who is competing, because she is Miss South Africa Earth Air this year. I think the main winner opted not to compete, and which is, I think, a good thing for the national title holder, because if the national title holder elects not to compete, she is given that choice. I mean, we just have the reigning Miss South Africa saying that she doesn't want to compete internationally after she already competed at Miss Universe several years back. Everybody was thinking that she might be sent at Miss Supranational next year, but she mentioned in her interviews that she's not going to compete at Miss Supranational or any international pageant for her reign, and would focus on her advocacy work for Miss South Africa this year. And I think that is the same thing with the winner for the Miss Earth South Africa. So Belinde is one of those girls that are familiar, that we're familiar with, because she already competed, I believe, at Miss Grand several years back. She's a makeup artist and a freelance model, and her advocacy is on safeguarding elephants from poachers. I think this girl is one of the blonde ladies that we need to look out for this year, because it's been so long since Miss Earth has crowned a blonde winner, and it's been almost it's been over a decade since Miss Earth crowned a blonde winner, because the last time that Miss Earth crowned a blonde winner was in 2012 with Teresa Feischova of the Czech Republic. So I am on the notion that maybe it's high time that a blonde head would wear the Miss Earth crown again this year. However, I am not discounting the fact that there are a lot of girls who are diamond in the rough, who are possible winners that are not very popular as of this moment. But I think that in terms of winnability, there's a lot of girls in this year's competition that we should all be looking out for. Okay, let's now proceed and look at the comment section, because I think ang dami ng mga comments here that I need to read. Okay, sandali lang. Roland Ramirez TV is here, kumakaway. Pierre says, "Sir, what can you say about Kazakhstan? She's lovely and charismatic. She has a lovely face. I think Kazakhstan did not register well with me, because the ones that I was listing down on my notes were the ones that gave me good impressions, good first impressions. But since you mentioned Kazakhstan and several other girls in the comment section earlier, I am on the lookout for possible scene stealers in this year's batch. Now, continuing to Pierre's comment, the Netherlands is a doll-like beauty, and I agree with you on Mexico. So yes, I think Netherlands is one of those very commercial beauties. Mexico, on the other hand, is one of those ladies that I think are a dark horse for the competition this year. And several other girls, I think, has a very quiet presence on them, but I know that when it comes to delivering at the interviews or at the presentation portion of the competition, they will be having a blast there. Okay? Going popcorn, sirs. Present po. Late ng 30 minutes. No problem. Going popcorn, we can always do a replay later on. Travel Junkie, sabi niya, gorgeous faces from sorry, mali. Okay. Gorgeous European faces are Albania, Netherlands, Portugal, France, and Spain. I kind of agree with Spain among the girls na nabanggit mo. Albania, for me, for some weird reason, I cannot remember her. And that's for me, that's worrying for me, because if I'm going to put someone in my list, I have to at least remember her face, and that's the thing about Albania. Okay, additional na mga lists are Russia, Ukraine, Denmark. Nako, lahat yata. I kind of agree that this year Europeans are coming in with girls who have very gorgeous faces. My only reservations when it comes to the Europeans is the fact that sometimes they fall flat on the presentation aspect of the competition. And I think this is where training really needs to be strengthened for Europeans, because that is where they usually fall flat. That is where, if you have a Latina at the semis, you're gonna be guaranteed that these Latinas are going to deliver on the presentation aspect, and that is the reason why they move further into the competition. Okay, Eagle Third says, okay po ba ang coronation schedule ng Miss Earth? Is siya yung last sa Big Four? Yes, for this year. Their competition is actually on the 22nd of December. Initially, I planned to fly to Vietnam when the finals is on the 16th. The initial schedule was, I think 16th or 18th. I think somewhere in between. No, I think it's 16. But when nausog ng 22, sabi ko, hindi na pwede to, dahil if I'm going to go to the province, coming from Vietnam and spend Christmas with family, then it's going to be like 12 hours on the bus and additional 3 hours on the plane. That's going to be, a suicide on travel. So I don't think I'd be able to do that. Aside from that, I don't think I can travel long term ng ganong katagal. It's gonna drive me crazy. So unfortunately, I'm just doing the coverage from here. And what I'm glad about is that the Miss Earth organization reached out to me and asked me to be part of the evaluators for the Tree Talk of the Girls, which I will be talking on a separate live stream later on, para mas mabigyan natin ng opportunities na mapag-usapan yung mga girls on that aspect of the online challenges. Okay? Going Popcorn says, bardagulan ang Latin America. Don't forget, not just Colombia, but also Paraguay, Brazil, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. I kinda agree. Paraguay for me is isa siya doon sa mga girls na looks very facially gorgeous. She is a singer, if I'm not mistaken. So I think she is one of those girls na aantabayanan mo, that you're going to be on the lookout for. I am not very sold yet with Paraguay, but I think over time I will be warming up to her as a possible contender, because I don't know much of her as of this moment. I think I need to learn more about the girls for me to consider them as possible Miss Earth title holders, at least on my case. But I think, the ladies that you mentioned, Paraguay, Brazil, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, you should also add Cuba at some point in that list, because I think the ladies are coming in, very strongly at Miss Earth this year. Roland Ramirez TV, thank you for the heart emoji. Kiisa says, I feel like the Europeans are very on board with Miss Earth. It seems the org, advocacy, and how the pageant is conducted matches how okay, nawala yung the rest of the comment ni Kiisa. But yes, I kind of agree. I think that a lot of Europeans, because of the Miss Earth ethos and its core value on protecting the environment, is something that resonates with a lot of Europeans. That is why I think Europeans, year in, year out, bring, very engaged delegates. Okay, Davis Ordaneta says, I like Yllana, but I was a bit off by her behavior during the IG Live with Thailand and Vietnam. We know that she is an excellent speaker, but she's overly assertive. She talked them over. I think it's because Yllana has to reel in her energies because she tends to be overeager. I think that is the area that she needs to work on. He says, I hope a diamond will come out from Europe, Caribbean, or Africa. I think, hopefully, I want to see an African in the top 4 this year, even a possible African winner. I do hope, though, that Europeans are very well represented at the semifinalists this year. Okay, Ishtin says, Team Replay here. Good evening. Okay, good evening din. I'm not sure what time you came in, Ish, but I do hope na later on mag-replay ka na lang ng mga na-miss mong areas. Okay? Travel Junkie says, Miss Albania, Dritay, second runner-up in Miss Globe, kabatch ni Chelsea, sir, magaling kumuda. If that's the case, then kinakailangan antabayanan natin din yan. I think when it comes to the speaking abilities, the more that you are good at communications, the more that there is a chance for you to make it into the semis at Miss Earth, because Miss Earth, I think, values intelligence and values the ability to communicate. Okay, Going Popcorn says, Venezuela and USA transformed on either their look or style when they arrived in Vietnam. They might pull a surprise. I agree. I think Danielle Mullins, if I'm not mistaken, that's Miss USA, has a very, Miss USA type of makeup in her introductory video that I feel that might not work with Miss Earth, that values a little bit more subdued makeup. So I think if she is able to transform her well there, that would be great for her, because Miss Earth, I think, looks on more natural, dolled up girls rather than overly made up girls, which for me might be my worry for Miss Venezuela, because her images, her videos on while she's in Vietnam, she looks like she's piling on too much makeup. I'm not sure if that is, that is something that is her strategy for the Miss Earth competition, but I worry for her when it's time for the closed door interviews where the no makeup challenge might take place. So maybe, just rethink the overly, made up look for her. But Venezuela, being a national volleyball player, if I'm not mistaken, has a resume, has a meaty resume as well, coming into the Miss Earth competition. So I think just a little bit of tweaking on the styling part, especially on the makeup. Okay, where are we? Me Dog 9039 says, attitude will come into play as well. So the ladies need to be in their best behavior. I kind of agree. Bawal ang Meldy sa Miss Earth. Kiisa says, Miss Earth is not into pasarela much based on recent years. They seem to want an eloquent one, down to earth, authentically on board with the org's advocacy. I think Yllana also needs to tone down her very sexy styling. It tends to lean to Miss Grand rather than Miss Earth. Ishtin says, do you think Yllana would win this year? What do you think of her downfall? Thank you, sir. Okay, I think for Yllana, the over-eagerness needs to be reeled in. I think that is going to be her downfall, because if you exert all of your energies as early as now, this is going to be like a 3-week long competition. Mauubusan ka ng bala. And I think that is where she needs to be, calm down and really, really be more strategic in the way that she plays the game. I think that in terms of winnability, I think Yllana is easily a shoe-in into the top 4. Granted that that Miss Earth being in Vietnam, Yllana is actually the kind of beauty that the Vietnamese might find interesting, that might find within their tastes of what is aesthetically pleasing. In terms of winnability, Yllana is right there on top. However, again, as I said, this is going to be a long 3-week competition. Actually, she arrived at around November 26 or 27. And she is going to be there until the 22nd of December. So that's pretty much a very long, almost a month-long stay in Vietnam. So she needs to pace herself. Ngayon pa lang, if she's already spending too much energy on the live streams, on the styling, she needs to learn how, okay, I need to be calm at this moment, because hindi pa ito yung area where I really need to bring out all my arsenal. Again, this is something that I know a lot of fans would probably be very against what I'm going to say, but this is again pretty much similar to what fans have been saying about Miss Universe Thailand, Antonia Porcil, that she is she is burning too fast too soon. And I think that is the worry that I have with Yllana as of this moment, because if she doesn't pace herself, she might end up with another Antonia Porcil situation where she's so close to winning, so close but yet so far. So I don't want that to happen. So I do hope that Yllana would be very mindful that this is not going to be a sprint. This is going to be a marathon. So she needs to pace the way that she plays the game, and spend the energies on the areas that really matters. Okay? Going Popcorn says, India and Indonesia might also have a chance this year para hindi na din maging bitter mga fans nila. Sana top 20 ang semifinalists. I kind of agree. If Miss Earth is going to be having a top 20 this year, I think masisiya ng mga fans, because there are a lot of girls that are really very worthy of a semifinals placement in this year's batch. A lot of them actually are like have the potential, but if we don't give them the opportunity to show that potential on stage, sayang. And if it's going to be a top 20 this year, I will be very glad for that to happen, because I think while I was doing the list, I originally wanted to do only like a top 8 or a top 10. However, as I was doing the list, it keeps on adding and piling up, and I was thinking, okay, if I am going to do this like I've done in Miss Universe earlier this year, that I only list down seven girls, then ang daming masasayang. And a lot of these girls probably needs vloggers to talk about them, to give them the space, to give them exposure, because they probably need that kind of support. And that is the reason why I expanded my list of 8 girls initially to 12 girls. So that is why, aside from the 12, I also have several other girls that I think we should be on the lookout for. Okay? Now, tignan na natin yung yung poll kung nasaan na tayo. Okay. So, I asked earlier for everyone to what do you call this, to participate in this evening's poll question, which is, if you're going to choose Miss Earth, which continent should she come from? And right now, 55% is saying that the next Miss Earth will be coming from Asia or Oceania. Second is the Americas with 21%, Europe with 14%, and 10% for Africa. So I think that's very interesting because right now, it goes to show that Asia is still, baluarte pa din ng Miss Earth. And I think a lot of girls from Asia are really very smart and outspoken. And evidence for that is, Mongolia, you have of course, the Philippines and Vietnam. And I think I was really very flabbergasted when Vietnam was talking about herself in her introductory video. Apparently, she is a migrant from the US. Her parents were Vietnamese migrants, and that she was educated in the US. So it's not surprising that she's able to, speak very well English. Okay. Nasa na yun? Okay. Popcorn says, kaso sir, hindi aabot sa 114 ang candidates like what they said on the press con. Yeah. I mentioned that earlier that an estimate around 88 girls would be competing in this year's edition of the pageant. Okay. Kiisa says, do you think the selection of finalists will be affected since it's happening in Vietnam? It all depends on who are they going to get as judges for the competition. If there is a huge number of local Vietnamese in the judging panel, then you have to put into consideration what are the aesthetics that the Vietnamese people like. That would play a big part. However, if the judges are pretty much evenly in terms of nationality, then we might be seeing, a very varied top 16 or top 20 for Miss Earth this year. I think it's more of a question of who are the judges are, because I think the girls, on equal footing, they're all equally beautiful, with varying degrees on facial beauty, varying degrees of ability to speak and ability to perform on stage. However, if the judges that they are going to select for Miss Earth this year happens to be diverse, then we might see a very diverse selection of semifinalists. But kung medyo leaning towards locals yung mga judges, then medyo medyo tagilid yung magiging resulta ng mga semi-finalists this year. So I am hoping that when the Miss Earth pageant would release their list of judges, it would be a equal, well spread out in terms of backgrounds, in terms of ethnicities, in terms of nationalities and races for the selection committee or the judging panel. Okay, where are we? Going Popcorn is asking, any patsaa po kung sino ang mga judges sa finals or guest or entertainers? Wala pa ako naririnig. I am not as, well connected with Miss Earth in terms of mga chichis. So, let's wait and see kapag may mga marinig ako from people that I know of who are in Vietnam right now. But what I can guarantee you is that the Miss Earth organization is a very fair organization. And I think this is something that even Angelia Ong mentioned in an interview with Boy Abonda several years back. This is also the same thing that I have been able to talk with some Miss Earth na mga winners, including Yllana, na very fair at patas ang Miss Earth when it comes to treating the candidates in terms of the ability of the candidates to win the title. So I think in terms of fair judging, Miss Earth is right there in the top of the list among the major international pageants. If in fact, if I were to consider which is the most which are the pageants that have the highest incomes when it incomes of fairness and integrity, I would put on the list the Miss International and the Miss Earth organizations on top of that list. I think that even Miss Universe or Miss World can touch the level of integrity when it comes to selecting and judging the girls as compared to the Miss Earth and the Miss International pageants. Ang layo, in my opinion, yung transparency, yung treatment on the candidates in terms of their equal opportunity to win the title. Okay. Nasa na ba tayo? Kisa says, I think Chantel would be there. Also, the videos they send also somehow part of the points. I am not sure how the video challenges of the delegates are, what do you call this, are part of the overall judging criteria. However, for us who are evaluators of the Miss Earth online challenges, we were given a table. And on my end, I have several rubrics on why I am judging some of the girls higher in terms of their tree talk presentation. So I think maybe there might be some points there that they are going to look at in terms of evaluating the girls as possible winners. Okay, so now let's go back to the poll. I think hindi masyado gumalaw yung poll. Asia Oceania is still like 55%. Americas is 21%. Europe is 14%, and Africa is 10%. Now, to wrap it all up before we end our live stream, here are the things that I think we need to be looking out for. Right now, I think the expectation that Vietnam is going to deliver a very bongacious, a very fabulous show is quite high. But on my end, I think we all need to manage our expectations first, because right now, some of the schedules keep on like shifting and changing. Yung long gown competition was not initially on the released schedule on December 3. So maybe there needs to be like some managing of expectation on that, because last minute changes in the schedule kind of throws off yung schedule ng mga fans na umaantabay. But I also am expecting that in terms of the pageant, in terms of showmanship, there will be something to look out for, because I think Vietnam is one of those countries that are very heavily investing on showmanship, much like Thailand. So I am expecting that it's going to be a spectacular event for Mr. Earth this year. Another thing that I am hoping to happen is that there will be more content on the Miss Earth page. There's more not just photo but video content as well for the Miss Earth page on both Facebook and Instagram. I think that medyo nahuhuli yung Instagram nila. I think I just feel that in terms of updates, the Instagram page is lagging as compared to the Facebook page. I know that the Facebook page have more have more engagement because probably they have bigger reach or bigger followers there, but I think it's about time that they grow as well their Instagram page, and I think there is an opportunity for them to really expand their communities on the Instagram platform. I also think that that the Miss Earth this year is very promising in the sense that we feel that there are a lot of changes in terms of the glam factor on the stage, on the showmanship. There are initially photo shoots that were what do you call this, that were planned for the girls based on their initial schedule. So I do hope na masundan yung mga schedules na yon, and that we see more, more social media presence from the pageant itself. Now, as for the number of candidates this year, I am happy if they have like 80 or 70 candidates. I don't expect that they would go over 100 this early on. But I do hope that whoever makes into the final roster of candidates, they would deliver when it comes to the actual competition. I think this is a very interesting and a very good batch of Miss Earth candidates this year. I do hope really that there will be a lot of opportunities to know more about these girls. And for us na mga pageant fans, to get to know more about these girls as well. I think that the Miss Earth website needs to be updated with the profiles of the candidates this year. I am hoping that within the next 7 days, 5 days, 7 days, ma-update na yung mga bios ng mga girls on the Miss Earth webpage, because currently when I checked it earlier this morning, only the photos and the names are in the website. So if you click on the candidates themselves, hindi pa lumalabas yung kanilang mga bios. And I do hope that soon we get to know more about these girls and their bios on the website, because I think in order for fans to get to know more about these ladies, there should be an avenue by the Miss Earth organization to make the girls more closer to the pageant fandom. And I think having the bios, having them in their website complete with their profiles, what are their interests, who are they, what are the things that makes them who they are, is important, especially for us pageant fans who consume these kinds of content for the pageant. Because in order for us to get to know more about these girls, we need to know more about who they are in the duration of the competition. Okay? So, let's now look at the final na results. Okay, I think medyo gumalaw yung ating final results ng ating poll. Right now, Oceania is, nawala. Okay, Oceania is 55% of the votes. Americas is 20% of the votes. Europe is 13% and Africa is 9%. So a lot of you guys feel that the next Miss Earth will be coming from Asia and Oceania at 55%. So I do hope that this year, whoever wins Miss Earth, is the one who is the most deserving among the girls. I think this year there's a lot of ladies to choose from. I think Europe is coming in very hot. Latin America is also coming in with a huge, number of candidates that are easily that are easy picks to win Miss Earth. Same thing with Asia. I think there's a lot of Asian girls this year that are very beautiful, but at the same time very articulate. So we need to, to be on the lookout for them as well. Okay, I do hope that there will be more Africans who's going to join Miss Earth in the future, because I think that there is a huge potential for an African winner this year. Okay, so I think that's it from me, guys. Thank you very much for the wonderful live stream that you've joined that you've joined today. I am very intrigued with what are the things that you are going to look out for a winner as we go through the entire competition together. I do hope na before we end our live stream, please do leave with a thumbs up in our live stream para mas marami yung makakita nito, mas marami yung makapag-join in the future, and mas marami yung maging subscribers and followers natin in our YouTube channel. I do hope that we can grow this YouTube channel together, and I do hope that for the duration of the Miss Earth competition, samahan niyo ako, join me in getting to know more about the girls, getting to know more about the pageant, and enjoy the pageant this time around. Okay? Medyo we should be, we should be more chill at this point in terms of our coverage, because it's not as tense as the Miss Universe competition earlier this November. I do hope, however, that with Miss Earth being a more fair, or rather being a very fair pageant, mas maging mas maging on the lookout tayo with all of the candidates, the delegates that can potentially win the title. Okay, so thank you very much everyone. Abangan nyo yung susunod na live stream natin, because in our next live stream, I plan to discuss about the Miss Earth activities, yung kanilang yung mga ginawa namin for the evaluation on the Tree Talk and the other online challenges, and some of the girls that we are now starting to look at as potential winners after a week into the competition. Okay, so thank you very much for everyone, guys. Again, please do leave a thumbs up. For those who are new here, please subscribe and follow us in our social media channels, as well as here on YouTube, and I hope to see you again soon in our next live stream. Bye everyone, and see you in our next live stream, probably the same time next week. Okay, bye.